Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever. No Caitlin Clark has finally been revealed.
Interest around the Fever remains high, even with Caitlin Clark sidelined.
1.2 million people said, if it's not Caitlin Clark, I am not watching.
The number's higher when Caitlin Clark is involved.
They went from 2.7 with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese being the featured matchup all the way down to 1.5.
She didn't even touch the court. And still, Caitlin Clark just shattered every WNBA viewership record in sight. Her presence alone is pulling in numbers the league has never seen before. Fans are tuning in.
Caitlin Clark took over Chicago. She signed autographs for hours.
The Indiana Fever played the Chicago Sky on Barbie night,
Packing arenas and flooding social media, all because of her. She's not just changing the game, she's rewriting the rules from the sidelines. If you believe Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA, comment 100% for Caitlin below. Now let's unpack exactly how she's dominating the league without even playing.
All games with Caitlin Clark do better than all other games.
Signed over 200 autographs, was out for a long period of time, signing for fan after fan.
When Caitlin Clark plays, the WNBA becomes must-see TV. The proof? That early season clash between Clark and Angel Reese drew a jaw-dropping 2.7 million viewers.
Those games have done the best amongst the regular season games.
First time these two teams played this season, they did 2.7 million viewers.
A record-breaking broadcast that turned a regular matchup into a primetime event.
The Fever and Sky can still do good numbers without Caitlin Clark and without Angel Reese.
That wasn't just hype. That was the Caitlin Clark effect in real time. But what happens when she's not on the floor?
Nonetheless, 1.5 million viewers for Fever Sky.
The ratings for this past Sunday's game, Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever, no Caitlin Clark, no Angel Reese, has finally been revealed. The second time without Caitlin Clark, but a primetime game on CBS. 1.9 million viewers.
The exact same game, Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky, dropped to just 1.5 million viewers the next time around.
They had the biggest chance, and both times she did not play, man. It's crazy.
They went from 2.7 with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese being the featured matchup all the way down to 1.5.
No Caitlin, no Angel. And just like that, 1.2 million people tuned out.
6th most watched regular season game on ABC ever.
That's not a slight dip. That's a nosedive. Still, the league tried to paint it as a success. The 6th most watched WNBA game ever on ABC.
4th most watched regular season game on ABC this season.
Technically true, but let's be honest. Those numbers only held because people were hoping Clark might make a surprise appearance, or at least be visible courtside. Even her maybe draws more attention than most games at full strength. ESPN's own press release confirmed it.
Which is what ESPN is measuring in a press release.
Up 17%, versus last year's ABC's regular season average.
Ratings are up 17% on ABC and 6% across ESPN platforms.
WNBA on ESPN up 6% from last season.
But look closer, and it's obvious who's driving the surge. Without Caitlin Clark, that momentum stalls.
And at the end of the day, it's a business, right? It's a business.
I don't think you can have a more great role model than Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark unlocked millions for the WNBA.
She's the one keeping fans engaged even when she's not lacing up. There's never been a player in WNBA history who moves ratings like Caitlin Clark. Not one.
The number's higher when Caitlin Clark is involved.
The moment she's out, the excitement fades, the energy dips, and the audience drops. Over 1 million viewers made it crystal clear. No Caitlin, no interest. She's not just a player. She's not just a rookie phenom.
1.2 million people said, if it's not Caitlin Clark, I am not watching.
Oh, if she's off the court, then I'm not viewing it.
Right now, Caitlin Clark is the WNBA broadcast business.
Interest isn't falling off a cliff with Clark on the sideline.
Caitlin Clark didn't log a single minute of play, and yet she completely stole the spotlight. Sidelined by injury, she still managed to capture national attention, dominate social media, and become the central focus of an entire broadcast.
Maybe some people just want to see what she's doing on the sideline.
People are showing up just to witness Caitlin Clark. It's like she's the damn Beatles.
CC with MJ. CC get treated like MJ in the rack.
All without stepping on the hardwood. Take her recent appearance at a Fever versus Sky game. Dressed in street clothes, she drew a crowd as if she were about to drop 40 points. Fans traveled for hours, not to watch her play, but just to catch a glimpse.
Even if Caitlin Clark isn't playing, she's showing up to these games and actually signing autographs and all that good stuff.
Caitlin Clark spent 20 minutes signing autographs. She made her way 2/3 of the arena. She signed literally hundreds of autographs.
She signed autographs for hours. Real people trying to get autographs.
That's the level of magnetism we're talking about. Before the game even tipped off, Clark walked through the arena and signed more than 200 autographs.
Caitlin Clark spent 20 minutes signing autographs. She made her way 2/3 of the arena.
Fans, young girls, parents, lifelong basketball lovers lined the aisles holding jerseys, posters, shoes, hoping for just a second of her time. Some screamed, some cried, some simply stood frozen. And Caitlin? She gave them a show without playing a second.
We talked about the other day in New York, but you just have to appreciate about Caitlin Clark in these games. She knows a huge portion of these fans were hoping to see her play, and obviously they're not getting to. But she goes out of her way to make sure pregame she's signing autograph after autograph. We talked about the other day in New York when it was 108 autographs that she signed.
Even seated on the bench, she was electric. She cheered, joked, encouraged teammates, and smiled through it all. Cameras couldn't look away. Neither could the crowd. People watched just to see what she'd do next.
She knows what she's doing. She's a showman on top of it.
People didn't know whether or not Caitlin was playing that game until the very end. There are hundreds of fans that were there to see Caitlin Clark.
Would she shout out a teammate, wave to fans, or flash that peace sign after a big play? That's what makes her different. Her charisma and energy radiate from the sidelines. ESPN called her a showman, and they weren't wrong. She understands the power of her presence. She doesn't need a ball in her hands to leave an impact. She's already the biggest reason people are watching. And it's not just what happens inside the arena. Clark's still out there, making headlines for kicking a soccer ball at a charity event.
She's kicking a soccer ball, as you can see here, with her right leg. The injured groin on that right leg.
Handing out backpacks through her foundation and creating memories for kids who won't forget her face anytime soon.
Caitlin Clark Foundation, where some kids received backpacks. This was a cool gesture. A bunch of kids getting backpacks from Caitlin.
One boy said a simple fist bump from her was the best moment of his life. That's star power. She's generating NBA-level buzz while sitting out.
She might be better than Steph Curry.
Bro, she's better than Steph Curry. She is. She is. No. Hey,
Better than LeBron.
We love Clark. We love you, Clark.
Yes, she's better than LeBron. Yes, she is.
She's being compared to the Beatles by fans who show up just to be near her. And she's doing all this while healing. Let's be real. No one else, not in this league, not in this moment, is doing what Caitlin Clark is doing without even playing.
People are showing up just to witness Caitlin Clark. It's like she's the damn Beatles.
It's not marketing. It's not media spin. It's real. She's turning empty arenas into packed houses and casual fans into lifelong followers. The WNBA might be hesitant to crown her, but fans, cameras, and the numbers have already made the call.
People are showing up just to witness Caitlin Clark. It's like she's the damn Beatles.
CC with MJ. CC get treated like MJ in the rack.
Even on the bench, Caitlin Clark is the most important figure in the league. The WNBA has gone out of its way to downplay Caitlin Clark's influence. Coaches avoid saying her name. Players offer backhanded compliments or quiet shade. Media outlets conveniently shift narratives to highlight others.
The Indiana Fever played the Chicago Sky on Barbie night.
The number's higher when Caitlin Clark is involved. Interest around the Fever remains high. even with Caitlin Clark sidelined, interest isn't falling off a cliff with Clark on the sideline. The Fever continue to do better than all other teams, even without Caitlin Clark.
But here's the bottom line. Caitlin Clark has already proven she's the most impactful figure in women's basketball, and she didn't even have to step on the court to do it. Let's walk through what actually happened.
Does this count as taking over a trap? It's when you walk into your trap and take over.
When Clark was playing, the league hit all-time highs. Millions of viewers tuned in. Stadiums sold out. Merchandise flew off shelves. Her matchup with Angel Reese brought in 2.7 million viewers, something no WNBA game has done in decades. That's not hype, that's history. Then came the test. She was sidelined, injured, not playing, and the same matchup, Fever versus Sky, dropped to 1.5 million viewers. Still a strong number by league standards, but 1 million people had already moved on. And yet the WNBA called it a win. 6th most watched game ever on ABC. But let's be honest, those numbers were carried by Caitlin's shadow. Her face was in every ad.
Caitlin Clark, while she's got a break from the action, doesn't get a break from the autographs. The
Fans standing there, she signed autographs for like 2-3 hours.
Caitlin Clark spent 20 minutes signing autographs. She made her way 2/3 of the arena. She signed literally hundreds of autographs.
She signed autographs for hours. Real people trying to get autographs.
The camera cut to her more than half the players on the court. The game was promoted like she was playing, and fans still tuned in hoping she would. And when she didn't, 1 million people tuned out. That's not coincidence. That's cause and effect. That's Caitlin Clark. What's disturbing is the league's refusal to acknowledge it. Her own coach, Stephanie White, went on a 38-second rant praising a former Fever player now playing for Phoenix, while giving Clark barely 7 seconds of lukewarm recognition in the same breath.
Interesting.
So well together. And she does a really good job of adding a different dimension with her ability to be that stretch four, to complement, and her and Sasha being able to play on the floor at the same time with AT. She's comfortable there. She's comfortable in that system. It's going to be different to game plan against her. Her and AT both, really honestly. After having been on the sideline with them for a couple of years, it's going to be different to game plan against her. But I'm glad that she's happy, and I'm glad that she's found her spot.
Stephanie White spent more time big-upping DB in this 38-second clip than every press conference interview you go to. She spends 7 seconds maximum speaking highly of Caitlin Clark.
Meanwhile, other coaches across the league go out of their way to champion their own stars. But when it comes to Caitlin, even basic acknowledgement feels forced, if it happens at all. Why? Because the truth makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to admit that this 22-year-old rookie has done more for the league in half a season than many veterans did in a decade. That kind of truth is hard to swallow for players who've spent years grinding without the same level of spotlight. It's tough for media who want to control the narrative. It's threatening to coaches and execs who built careers without her. But here's the twist. Her presence is lifting everyone. Look at Sophie Cunningham. She went viral after one intense moment with Clark. Now she's being offered wrestling deals and gaining new fans. Kelsey Mitchell, always talented, is finally getting the recognition she deserves thanks to Caitlin putting the Fever on the map. Entire game broadcasts are up in ratings. WNBA Countdown viewership rose 9%. The Fever are dominating national TV slots. And what's the one consistent factor? Caitlin Clark. Even while injured, the spotlight never leaves her.
Somebody who has benefited immensely from Caitlin Clark and being on the Fever is Sophie Cunningham. Her moment throwing J.C. Sheldon to the floor goes viral. Sophie being Caitlin Clark's enforcer, the Marty McSorley to Wayne Gretzky, and being a stunning athlete, keeping Caitlin Clark safe on the court.
Whether it's signing hundreds of autographs, handing out backpacks through her foundation, or simply smiling at a fan, the cameras are glued to her. The crowd reacts to her. The buzz is her. And that's with a brace on her leg. She didn't campaign to be the face of the league. She became it simply by being herself. Humble, driven, magnetic. She connects with fans on a level this league has never seen before. She's not just an athlete. She's a symbol of something bigger. A movement toward growth, visibility, and cultural relevance. And yet the WNBA seems scared of embracing her fully. They want the ratings she brings, but not the disruption she represents. They want her popularity, but not her voice. They want to capitalize on her brand, while forcing her into an outdated system that clearly hasn't worked.
Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever. No Caitlin Clark, no Angel Reese has finally been revealed. 1.2 million people said, if it's not Caitlin Clark, I am not watching. They went from 2.7 with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese being the featured matchup all the way down to 1.5.
That's the real problem. They're missing the moment. They're clinging to an old model while ignoring the future that's already here. You can't keep hiding the truth behind politically safe narratives. Not when millions are watching her every move. Not when fans are showing up just to see her warm up. Not when her name trends above the final score. Caitlin Clark has changed the conversation. And the longer the league resists, the more out of touch it looks. This isn't a temporary spike. It's a turning point. She is not just the most popular rookie. She is the face of the WNBA. And no agenda, no silence, and no selective coverage can hide that anymore.
Give Caitlin Clark all the miles so she won't. She running Chicago, the queen of the rack. Because it looked like Caitlin Clark went to Chicago and took the city over. It looked like she took the city over.
I think so. I mean, I think it's hard not to when you don't get a lot of rest and recovery. No, I always think the WNBA season is like this sprint marathon. And you see more injuries when you don't have a chance to recover. But it's not like, individual teams are the only ones that deal with it. This is a league-wide collective issue. So, and I also think, you see the NBA, for example, has a similar cadence, but they've got 30 teams and they're not quite as much crisscrossing time zones, crisscrossing the country. So it's the challenge of the footprint of our schedule, no doubt.
Let's call it exactly what it is. Caitlin Clark is the biggest star the WNBA has ever seen. Injured or not, playing or benched, she's the one fans are showing up for. The one they're tuning in to watch. The one driving headlines, ratings, and conversation. She's not just part of the league. She is the league's spotlight.
The hype is no longer just noise. It's real, measurable, and growing.
Caitlin Clark, in general, so popular.
Clark has firmly established herself as the biggest name in the WNBA.
And if she's doing all this while sidelined, just imagine the explosion when she's back at full strength. If you know Caitlin Clark is the reason the WNBA is breaking records, drop a 100% for Caitlin in the comments. Because whether the league wants to admit it or not, everything runs through her now.